What if one brave woman had to risk her life to save her entire people? This is the story of Esther, a young Jewish woman living in ancient Persia who goes from being an ordinary girl to a queen. It's a story about courage, faith, and being in the right place at the right time. Our story begins with Esther, an orphan raised by her loving cousin Mordecai. Through a series of amazing events, she is chosen to be the new queen of the powerful King Xerxes. But there's a secret. No one in the palace knows she is Jewish. Mordecai advised her to keep her identity hidden, and for a while she lives her new life as queen, quiet and unassuming. But trouble is brewing in the kingdom. A high-ranking official named Haman, full of pride and arrogance, becomes enraged when Mordecai refuses to bow down to him. Haman's anger isn't just at Mordecai, he hates all the Jewish people. So he devises a wicked plan to destroy every single one of them throughout the Persian Empire. He even tricks the king into signing a decree to make it happen. When Mordecai learns of this terrible plan, his heart breaks. He tears his clothes and mourns, knowing his people are in grave danger. There's only one person who might be able to stop this: Queen Esther. He sends a message to her, begging her to go before the king and plead for the lives of her people. This was no simple request. In those days, approaching the king without being summoned was a life or death risk. If the king didn't hold out his golden scepter, the person would be put to death immediately. Esther was terrified. She hadn't been called to see the king in a month. What if he was angry? What if he didn't listen? But Mordecai sent her another message, one that would change everything. He said, "Who knows, perhaps you have come to your royal position for such a time as this." These words struck a chord deep in Esther's heart. Maybe this was her purpose. Maybe all the events of her life had led her to this very moment. Finding a new strength, Esther makes a brave decision. She tells Mordecai to gather all the Jewish people in the city to fast and pray for her for 3 days. And then, with immense courage, she declares, "I will go to the king, even though it is against the law, and if I perish, I perish." After 3 days, Esther puts on her royal robes and stands in the inner court of the king's palace. When the king sees her, his heart is softened, and he holds out the golden scepter. He welcomes her and asks what she wants, promising to give her anything, up to half his kingdom. But Esther is wise. Instead of revealing everything at once, she invites the king and Haman to a special banquet, and then she invites them to a second banquet the next day. It's at this second feast that she finally musters all her courage. The king asks her again what she desires, and this time she reveals her secret. She says, "If I have found favor in your sight, O king, let my life be given to me and the lives of my people, for we have been sold to be destroyed." The king is shocked. Who would dare do such a thing? He demands Esther looks directly at Haman and says, "The adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman." The king is filled with rage when he understands Haman's deceitful and evil plan. Haman is immediately removed from his position of power, and his plot is completely turned on its head. The king then gives Mordecai the authority to write a new decree, one that allows the Jewish people to defend themselves against their enemies. Esther's bravery saved her people from certain destruction. The story of Esther teaches us a powerful lesson. God can use ordinary people in extraordinary ways. Sometimes we find ourselves in situations, big or small, where we have a unique opportunity to make a difference. We are placed there for such a time as this. You might not be a queen in a palace, but you have a voice. You can show courage when you see someone being treated unfairly. You can speak up for what's right, even when you're afraid. Like Esther, you can trust that even when you feel small, you can have a huge impact. Thanks so much for watching. If this story inspired you, please give this video a like. Subscribe to our channel for more content, and share it with someone who might need a little bit of courage today. See you next time.